a name?
Well, they have to get you to read the other 3.
Yeah, I have the other one right here, and I just ordered the other 2 because I can't stand not knowing what happens to this kid.
See?
I'm invested.
They got you.
I hate it. I'm just kidding. I'm reading it so that we buy it.
Can you name it, just in case the dear listeners might want to know?
Oh, yeah, sure.
What? We're not here for them.
Are we starting off?
Oh,
Are we starting off with what we're reading then?
Wait! Oh, clever. Hello, dear listeners.
We're missing someone.
We are. I mean, we can still have semi-bookish because we got the ish. He's in the house.
We're missing the book though, so we're just semi-ish.
But we are.
No, it's not Tony this time.
We are missing our dear adult and teen services librarian because she, to my knowledge, hasn't chosen a greater moniker worthy of glory, honor.
Oh yeah, we haven't given her one.
She's gone to go live at Disney for the next few days.
I know. We're all jealous.
Well, I'm not really.
She sold herself.
I'm jealous.
I've never been, so I'm kind of jealous.
Listen, she sold herself at 4, okay? Like the rest of us.
But yes, if you see her in a week or so, shake your finger jealously at her for going to, which is Disney World, Disneyland?
Florida.
Disney World.
Okay,
yeah.
Disney World in Florida.
Yeah.
Shake your finger for being jealous, but also lament that you don't get to hear her cherubic voice today.
Oh,
Should we, because she's not here, should we give her a supreme name?
I think she's just going to be known as the cherub from now on.
Seems like a
How can you walk away from that?
So really quick, we got Andy, what's my name?
dungeon daddy.
Oh, gross.
Okay, we got the mouth from the south, Tony. We got Lord Ish, that's a Grant over.
Grant over.
Grant over. That's your pen name, Grant over. And then Supreme Overlord of the Library, Aaron.
I mean, Jen's kind of my twin, so we're kind of co-supreme overlords at this point.
I mean, what else is a cherub but an overlord of love? Oh, God.
It's sticking.
Why did you just say it? I
She
hate
loves
that.
romance.
I know! I can't believe it just came out. I can't. I'm done. Take it away.
Okay, before we get too far into our shenanigans,
Yes.
I think we need to go back to what Aaron is reading, that'll be the start of the round.
Yes. Aaron, what are you reading?
All right, so first of all, I need to start preface with what I'm playing because otherwise my brain just,
Yeah.
But I should have looked it up first, but I really didn't because I don't know how to do things. I'm playing a game called Inscription, which is basically like a roguelike. It's a deck card game, but it's also a horror game at the same time.
Oh, cool. All right.
So I literally just started it, so I'll let you know next episode how I feel about it.
Okay.
Book-wise, I ordered a whole bunch of different manga for reasons of collection purposes, development purposes. That teens, come tell me what your favorite manga is. I swear, please, to all that is holy, please tell me what your favorite manga is.
Yes.
So I grabbed a few to read them to go hey, what are they about?
Mm-hmm.
Well, besides the fact that I read them all the time, but
But
to
whichever one-
evaluate how well they would work in the collection.
Yeah.
And
right.
so I'm reading this one right now called Our Dreams at Dusk. It's by I love it when they put stickers over the name. Shiman, that words. Tasogare Shimanami.
Okay.
Words are hard today.
It's okay.
And if we have anyone fluent in Japanese, you can look them up and then correct us firmly.
I used to be actually really good at saying them, but today's just not today. Anyways, the storyline is about Tasuku Kaname, and Tasuku is new to his school, and he has just been accidentally outed by his peers that he is gay, or at least he might be, and so his classmates are now giving him the runaround and the bullying that,
That happens.
happens when you're around 14 years old-ish, and he decides that he just doesn't want to exist because of this,
Sure. Yes.
and finds himself after a series of events in a center called the Drop-In Center, and essentially it's just like a house, and it has like books, music, all this kind of things, and other people, and he learns that he's not the only person. There are adults who are LGBTQ and all this other stuff, and he's learning to accept himself as, one, a gay teen, two, a gay teen in Japan, and three, accepting himself and loving himself despite the fact that his peers are, so against it. And dealing with a crush at the same exact time.
Oh, well, yeah, you have
who's
to.
in his class, and it's fantastic. And he just stares at him, and I'm like, I feel this on a personal level. It's like 4 volumes long. I just finished the first one. I have the second one right here, and I ordered volumes 3 and 4 because I can't stand not knowing what happens.
Nice.
Meanwhile, I'm also reading a series called Momote Lollipop, and that's a whole other thing that I'll explain in 2 weeks.
Nice. Grant, what are you reading?
What am I reading?
Oh my god, boys, with this accent!
I just... Okay, never mind.
This isn't all of a twist. I need you to stop right now.
Please, sir, may I have some more?
Oh, God.
Just a little crumpet. Okay, that's the end of that.
Tony, can we fire them?
No, because I started it. What are you reading?
What am I reading? I am reading Out of Order. Naked Lunch. William S. Burroughs.
Oh, the series Naked or the book Naked
Book, yep.
Lunch.
I mean, it's kind of a loose connected series, loosely connected.
Did you say you're reading Out of Order Naked Lunch?
Yeah, yeah. He himself said that because the book is made up of like loosely connected vignettes for most of it, and he said you can read it in whatever order you want.
Really?
First time through,
Okay.
I read it,
Just chronologically.
And now you're reading it out of order.
Now I'm reading it out of order, like he said.
That's
So,
fascinating.
yeah, no, it's a different experience. I mean, it's one of my favorite books ever. So.
Really? Oh, I don't think I knew that.
No, I mean,
Interesting.
nothing else I've read has really made you. It literally makes you feel like you're a paranoid person running through the streets, and then all of a sudden, there's a weird lizard centipede creature. There's a
House of Leaves does something very similar
You like
to
that
this.
feeling, huh?
I
That's cool, actually.
No,
And for a book to be able to do that's interesting.
I would recommend it. It's,
Okay.
immediately banned when it was released originally.
Well,
for obvious
yes.
reasons. So
Yeah.
Must be great.
William S.
It
Burroughs.
must be.
Read banned books, everyone.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's true.
Tony, are you reading any banned books, or are you just reading anything in general?
God. Okay, so I will give you the stack that I am currently reading.
Oh.
So
The stack I just gave you?
in audiobook world, I am listening to Wolf Hall by Hilary Mantel. It is fantastic. Anytime you hear anybody talk about like, oh, this book won the Booker Prize, your eyes, or at least mine, immediately roll to the back of my head because I'm like, this is going to be dry and dull and British and this is wild.
No offense to any of the British people listening to our podcast.
Yes, it's wild. Yeah. While this is very British because it's literally taking place in the in the times and court of Henry VIII, it is the funniest book I have read in a long. It is hysterical. The shenanigans of Thomas Cromwell and everyone around him are shenanigans when viewed through the eyes of, and also the way that she deals with death. She literally, like, at the end of one chapter, kills off his entire family.
Oh, well, that's
And it
nice.
just kind of just happens, because they're dying of an illness. And it's very matter of fact. It's like, oh, yes, and this character woke up, felt a scratch in the throat, and 2 days later, they were dead. And I was just like...
Well, how else are you supposed to deal with it? Do you want them to suffer forever?
It was cold, and it hurt a lot, Hilary Mantel. Thank you. So that's my audiobook listen to. My nonfiction read.
Plural.
Duh. Yeah, no, I'm only reading one nonfiction thing right now. Is The Woman Who Would Be King. I believe I got that title correct. The Woman Who Would Be King.
That's the Hot Jessica one.
Yes.
I said it right. Yes. Anyways.
By Kara Cooney. Who would be... Yes. Yeah, The Woman Who Would Be King. And it's about Hatshepsut's rise to power in ancient Egypt. If you don't know who Hatshepsut is, look her up. I'm not telling you.
I was just excited I said her name
It's fantastic.
right.
She's a wonderful... Kara Cooney is a wonderful Egyptologist who is showing me all kinds of ways about the world. She's amazing. And unlike so much of her coterie, she is actively anti-sexist, or not anti-sexist, yes, anti-sexist, anti-racist, anti-authoritarian, which makes her really interesting because, those Egyptian pharaohs were extremely authoritarian.
That's an interesting way, like, her viewpoint going in that.
She literally refers to Akhenaten as the Trump of his times, and when she said that, I wanted to be defensive because I was like, how dare you mess with my pharaohs, but I realized that literally was the point of her making the statement, and I was like, and she's not wrong. I hate her. I love her, but I hate her. And my other two fiction reads that I'm reading physical print. I'm reading Nefertiti by Michelle Moran and Child of the Morning by, what is her name? Pauline Gedge. So, yes, I'm literally reading all of those at once right now because my brain is capable, I guess. I don't know. I'm an insane person. What are you reading, Andy?
Yes, you are.
Stop it!
Do you have any leftover crumpets?
Tell me what you're reading, Andy.
Oh my.
Did you say no?
No more crumpets.
No more crumpets. We're out.
We don't have
Sorry.
crumpets, but we have goldfish.
Oh,
I love the fishes because they're so delicious.
Anyways, what are we reading?
My God.
Berries and cream.
Jen, this has gone off the rails. I'm sorry. You're not listening anyway. It doesn't
They're
matter.
not cookies. Movies are fruit and cake.
What are you reading?
I don't know.
You don't know what you're reading?
That's partially the truth. I know what I'm reading. I had to look at my Goodreads. What am I reading? No, I've been a bit of a reading slump because Tony and Tina's wedding has been life-consuming for the
Everyone go
rehearsal
see
period.
Tony and Tina's wedding.
No, well, actually, there are tickets for this tomorrow night's performance. The only show of the weekend with tickets remaining.
Yes, but when you're listening to this recording...
Yes, that's a good point.
I think he's talking
over.
to time travelers.
Yes.
You're right, yes.
Oh.
Okay, so you've been in a reading slump, so are you not reading?
Reading slump. I'm slowly dragging a little bit with Have Mercy, finally, because I downloaded the audiobook recently by Jada Jones and Danielle Bennett.
Oh, yeah,
I bought it like November, but I just got so busy, didn't have time.
Yeah.
Eventually said, get the audiobook, I'll have time. And until the show is behind me, I won't have time.
Oh, no.
I'm listening a few minutes here and there, but I tried to listen for a little extended period of time, and I'm just so exhausted. I'm like, I caught nothing.
Yeah.
I have to go back. And it has all the makings. It has steampunk dragons piloted by wizards. But the wizards of this, they're not your typical kind of, robe-wearing frail. They're the rock stars of their time.
I mean, it would be, I would think.
And I've read about 100 pages into it, so I know a little bit of the foundation. It's pretty solid world building to start. It's interesting. And I did download recently, and thank you, Christina Kidney, for the recommendation, because I feel like I'm going to enjoy it. One of Us is Lying, which I didn't know until talking to Jen yesterday that there's a show.
Yes.
But maybe I'll watch it, maybe I won't. But yes, Karen McManus.
Would recommend. I like that book.
And I downloaded that from Libby the other day when she was talking about, oh my God, this sounds cool. Okay. Oh, after the show's done, I'm all on board. Yeah. Hold on, Kelly, while I don't know, I did chew through a little bit of it, but it's frustrating me. I don't think I'm in a good headspace to read Off the Edge, Flat Earthers, Conspiracy. No, I can't.
Yeah,
the one that you picked up that I looked at you and I said, why?
Nothing against you, Kelly. But, not that you're going to hear this, but nothing against you. I just, right now, there's too much craziness going on in the world that I need to deviate and go to, fun, even if it's talking about post-apocalyptic, everyone's dying. To me, that's kind of fun. It's not heartwarming. It's not giving my heart a hug.
I mean, everybody I'm
Are you throwing it out the window?
So,
No. Well, for now.
Soon.
You're welcome.
But yes, that's kind of what I'm reading, and I'm taking that off my list because I'll come back to it maybe.
Yeah.
When I have more brain, when I have 2 brain cells that I can work with. But yeah, no, maybe they'll make a movie of it.
You have 2 brain cells.
What was that? What did you say?
Maybe they'll make a movie.
Of what?
Oh, interesting.
Off the Edge, the Flat Earther book.
I hope.
See, at that point, I just recommend you watch...
Speaking of which...
At that point, I just recommend you watch Don't Look Up.
Don't Look Up. And actually, on the topic, which this podcast is all about today, is underrated movies. I think I'm going to get the ball rolling.
Oh,
no, I'm not going with Don't Look Up, but in the vein of Don't Look Up, I was talking. Like, I really like the movie "Seeking a Friend for the End of the World."
Oh, I haven't
it's
seen
a
that
post,
one.
like a kind of not post-apocalyptic, but an apocalyptic rom-com. I think you could define it as.
Okay.
Steve Carell, Keira Knightley, in one of her films that she's not wearing some medieval clothing.
Costumes, yes, she's constantly.
Which, fair warning, if you seek this movie out, Seeking a Friend for the End of the World, have tissues ready, maybe. But be in a good headspace, because the last time I watched it was during the shutdown.
Oh.
And Aaron's like, I hate you for making me watch that.
Yeah, that's not a good time to watch, because it really felt like the end of the world.
But it's like, I don't even necessarily know why people don't like it.
They don't?
There's quite a few people that I've talked to recently that they're just, it's not that good. I'm like,
I've always really enjoyed it.
Interesting.
It's a great movie.
okay, that's, because it is a little quirky in that I'd say its biggest hit is that Steve Carell's in it. Because
That's not a shining recommendation, by the way.
He's better than Jim Carrey to me. But he's one of those people I really have to be in the mood for him to tolerate him. Like, he's the worst part and also the best part of The Office, go figure.
Oh, I love him. He's so good in The Office.
But yeah,
God.
no, I don't know. That's just, you said Don't Look Up, and that made me think of like a discussion I was having recently. Like, I don't know why it didn't resonate with people. Like, it had a lot of good beats.
I think it's the ending that just kind of rubbed people the wrong way. Even though it's announced in the title of the movie.
Seeking for the End of the World?
Yeah.
Right.
You're like,
Interesting.
what did they get,
I mean, if I had to choose between endings of Don't Look Up or Seeking a Friend for the End of the World, I couldn't choose which one did it better. Because they both kind of leave you emotionally destroyed.
That's interesting, because I think that's something that's, since we're talking about underrated movies, I think that's something that has to be true about underrated movies to some degree, is that something unexpected or jarring is a part of the experience of the movie. Maybe. I really don't know, because sometimes I think like conventional movies also get this slap where people are like, oh, I don't like it, and then they try to explain why they don't like it, and you're like, and then they rave about something else that's literally the same thing.
No, there's
And
definitely...
you're like, what? I don't understand how you watch movies.
No, there's different ways something can end up being underrated. Definitely.
Okay, what's your underrated pick? What's an underrated
I have a whole
pick?
bunch.
Do you? Yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised if Grant has like this like super long list
I do.
that spans.
I
like,
only have 2.
It's like a Google Doc and it's like 5 pages long and growing, and you're just
Yes.
like.
Okay, I'll start with a recent one. Pig, starring Nicolas Cage.
Oh yeah? How was that?
That was really good. I was surprised.
Okay.
Because if you watch the
Has
trailer,
it been out long enough to be considered underrated?
I haven't heard anybody talk about it.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Really? Anyway.
Alright, I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
But like when you watch the trailer or like look at the promotional materials, you get the vibe that it's going to be another take on like the John Wick-esque revenge.
Oh sure.
movie.
Yes.
Really, it's an inversion of that.
Okay.
Where he's not. It's hard. It's hard to describe. Like you go and expect because like the first 10 minutes set it up to be one of those kinds of movies. And don't get me wrong, I love John Wick and stuff.
Sure. Right.
Awesome. But then I would say it very, very, very nicely subverts that, and it's a very different type of movie.
Okay.
And it goes a lot of weird places.
Okay.
But I like it. I haven't heard anybody really talk about it.
That's interesting. What's another one?
What's another one?
Actually,
You really have to look at your
Can I
list.
piggyback on this really quick? Because as you were talking, I thought about 2007, a little movie with Clive Owen came out. Which I like Clive Owen anyway.
Which one?
Way? Calm yourself, you
I'm
know.
losing
Patience,
it. It's
yeah.
the one that I think you...
And what really drew me to it, despite my appreciation for Clive Owen, it was Paul Giamatti as an assassin / villain.
I love this movie.
I thought you were talking about a different one.
Shoot 'em up.
Yeah, Shoot 'em up. I love that
Which-
movie. I love that movie.
It's in the vein of John Wick and maybe Pig. I haven't seen it yet.
John Wick wishes it was Shoot 'em up, because everything wishes it was Shoot 'em up. Shoot 'em up is brilliant.
Okay. I thought that was going to be like a complete dig on John Wick because I really, really like the John Wick films.
I've never seen them,
Really
but
cool.
okay.
But
all right.
here's where
It's
Shoot 'em
Keanu.
Up.
That's all you need to know.
Where Shoot 'em Up and John Wick movies excel.
Yeah.
They are not pretentious. They come across as blatantly 80s style, ridiculous, over-the-top action without necessarily leaning into like. And Fast and the Furious, amazing though they may be to other people, I feel like there's something that I can't vibe with about them, but like this other lower brow entertainment like John Wick or Shoot 'em Up. I mean, the guy's he's like a killer Bugs Bunny. He's eating a carrot every 5 minutes of the movie.
Shoot 'em Up lowbrow is just a slap in my face. It is not lowbrow. That movie is brilliant. In the same way that, oh God, what is that movie that nobody talks about that Daniel Radcliffe is in? See, now I have a third movie.
Guns Akimbo?
Guns Akimbo. Oh
yeah,
my
that was
God. The brilliance of that movie is that it is literally the hero's journey in the most ridiculous fashion that you could possibly imagine. Like, it was like, what if the hero's journey was a video game? No. Not like, what if you're playing a video game that's the hero's journey? We've all seen that before. What if you, a person who just wanted to live your regular life, the life where you screwed up a relationship with a past girlfriend and maybe stalked her a little bit, because you know how to do that as an IT person. You kind of failed as an IT person. But what if you suddenly got the heroic call in the most insane possible way, which is a group of people who are part of a video game break into your apartment, beat the hell out of you, and surgically tape guns, not tape, but like surgically attach guns to your hands. And you can't get out of it.
I need to watch that.
That movie is it is so.
I feel like a lot of the stuff he's in now is very underrated. Like the TV show that he's in is also like
Oh yeah, what is that called
fantastic. It's
again?
Miracle Workers.
Yes, I've heard that's really good.
It's hilarious. Essentially, it's just like
Yeah.
God's like, yeah, we're gonna destroy the world, and then these two like lower angels are just like, oh no, we can't do that. So they're trying to like save everyone. And Daniel Radcliffe is like the most hilarious comedic relief in the whole thing.
He's hysterical. I love him so much. He's
Like-
so underrated in general, I think.
Swiss Army Man is another underrated Daniel Radcliffe. I
Yeah.
already talked about that in the podcast, so
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not going to bring that up.
That is a brilliant movie. That's true. But yeah, I would say Shoot 'em Up and Guns Akimbo are in the same. I mean, I think Guns Akimbo is a slightly more brilliant because it's trying a little harder. But Shoot 'em Up, I think, just...
It goes for it.
It does. And it should. Like, it's one of those movies that you could dismiss as slapstick, but if you actually pay attention to it, there's a internal logic to it that only makes sense when you're watching that movie. You're not supposed to think about it afterwards. Like, because if you do, you failed. Like, you watched it wrong. Well, why
Yeah.
is he always chewing a carrot? How come he's in a... I literally had somebody say to me once, they're like, yeah, that movie's so unrealistic, though. Like, he gets in a gun battle holding a baby, and, like, the only people that die are bad guys. And I was like,
Not that I want names.
it's a movie! Like,
Not that I want to name, but can you like?
it was
can you
some
remember who might
idiot
have
I
said
went to
that?
high school with, like, 10
They probably
years ago.
love Fast and the Furious.
Yeah, actually, they probably do. Which is stupid, right? Because it's like, they're both high-octane movies in which stuff happens that cannot happen in real life without actual consequences. Like, I don't understand
The
how...
stuff they do to like, and I haven't even seen anything beyond the first movie in Fast and the Furious.
I've seen a few of them.
I just can't get behind Fast and the Furious. I get bored.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
boring. That's my
I get
thing.
very bored watching them.
Shoot 'em
But
Up
like
is
on
not.
a subjective level, they're bored to us. But like other people like them, and I can see the appeal. I can see it. I just don't get it.
I mean, semi-hot dudes driving cars.
Semi?
Semi, come on. None of them, please.
No, I think you're being a little bit too generous.
Oh, am I? Wow. All right, maybe. I don't know.
Sorry.
They're just,
Paul Walker's
you know,
pretty hot. I mean, he's flaming. I mean,
he's a
kinda like
blockhead, and
almost
he
crispy.
can't act.
Ouch.
Oh,
Ouch.
sorry, too soon.
Ouch.
Really?
Still too soon.
Ouch.
Just rude. And then that whole, like, everyone who, like the public mourning of Paul Walker, I was so nauseated. Like, I'm like, can we not? Like, speaking of someone who should have stayed underrated, he cannot act his way out of a paper bag. And yet, yeah, I can't.
What's another one?
I can't.
Well, okay. So, two things. I do agree that Pig may have maybe too recent of a movie to truly call underrated.
Sure.
Also, your use of the word pretentious, which is one of my least favorite words in English. It brings me back to 1990s art house horror classic Begotten. Or should be classic.
Begotten? Ooh, I've never heard of that.
It is by the same director as, I think it's Shadow of the Vampire. It has Willem Dafoe in it.
Oh, I don't know that one either.
It's like about the filming of Nosferatu, but
Interesting.
It turns out Nosferatu is an actual vampire or something.
Yeah, well, yes,
So,
yeah.
Oh, that's why I've heard of it, because it's William Dafoe.
Yeah.
Willem Dafoe.
I do like him.
But I think this movie
Begotten.
Begotten has had a lot, it's had a subtle influence on that kind of artier spectrum of horror over the years, and even internet horror, which is how I originally came across it, because there's a very memorable scene that it opens up with I won't spoil anything, but with like a mysterious figure in a weird cabin, and he's like, stabbing himself and stuff. But anyway.
Oh, that's a lot.
That it is in black and white, super grainy.
Yeah.
Oh, those are some pictures.
Yep.
Those are some.
Now, my first exposure to it was in the early days of YouTube, when you'd see like a band videotape, hot, cursed, whatever.
Yeah.
And,
You mean
as,
SCPs?
as a kid, you'd think it's real, and you're like, in quite a few videos, you'd see that clip from there, just kind of.
So essentially, you're basically saying that Begotten's like a 90s version of the SCPs.
It was, I would say, it added to that. It's tangentially related.
SCPs were influenced by Begotten at this point.
By the existence of Begotten, I see, not directly, but okay. Here's what okay, pretentious. I'm going insane.
No.
So
do the thing.
Okay, every single reaction I've seen online has been, "This is the nothing happens in this movie. It's horrible. It's black and white. That nobody says anything." But when I was in film school, I wrote an entire paper defending this movie.
Ooh.
So I'm passionate.
Yes.
But
I love that.
no, I mean it's a very it's hard to sit through. I'll admit it. It's like 2 hours.
Carry on.
There's no talking. Nothing
actually really happens. Yeah.
No, but you need to allow yourself to be taken along in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
It's an art house film.
It's an art house film.
It's one of those films that you'd probably go see in a gallery and it'd be like projected onto the wall, and there's like a whole bunch of different like mood lighting going on.
I love a good movie in which. No, not a good movie. I love a
Definitely
great movie
avant-garde.
in which nothing happens. I have a whole stack
Avant-garde
of
movies are
movies
kinda just
where
wild and
literally
so.
the only thing about those movies is they're beautifully shot movies in which two people have a conversation the whole movie.
Okay,
That's
real
it.
quick,
I realize
because you
you're
said
pointing-
that.
Yeah.
The Big Lebowski. That's not an
never
underrated film.
seen that one.
That has a following. I mean, but like really, at the end of the day, people ask, "What's it about?" I'm like, I struggle.
You're like, nothing.
Really, nothing happens. But like, I'm just like, the dude just wanted his rug back
I feel
and
like
leave it there.
That's a movie where I would say there's no grand thesis, but there's a lot of weird themes that come in, even like political stuff where he's like watching Bush Sr. on the TV and then he repeats that later on.
This aggression will not stand.
And there's like the hippie culture and stuff. So there's stuff going on in it, but you don't have to watch it.
It's such a wonderful film. Like, I mean, it came out in '99. I was like, oh, it's pretty good. It's funny. And like, it was okay. And then 3 weeks later, I find myself quoting it repeatedly. I'm like, I gotta watch this again.
Interesting.
And I think that is despite being like a Star Wars fanboy, like comic book movie fanatic, I've watched that movie more than probably most other movies combined.
Interesting.
Like multiple hundreds of times.
Yeah.
The Big Lebowski, because that's not an underrated movie, but just you said that because like it's this amazing experience. Mm-hmm. Nothing really happens.
Right.
It reminds me of Hot Fuzz. Have you ever seen Hot Fuzz?
Hot Fuzz is hilarious.
Where just like the sheer number of running jokes that continually build on each other, and then it just keeps getting funnier.
It's your
and funnier
essential
as it goes
British police comedy
Yeah.
going on.
Oh, okay. So like okay, buddy. Okay.
on. There's some similar stuff going on.
Interesting. Huh.
Irenaeus.
What?
That's your Greek name now.
That's my Greek name.
Irenaeus.
Sounds more Roman than Greek.
It
but
really
okay.
does.
I don't know.
It sounds very Roman.
They're close enough.
I'm living in the world of Stevie
They
now.
might have something to say about that, but carry on. I mean, they're both Mediterranean. So,
I don't watch a lot of
Well, it's like the same way, like, some people, like, to the outside perspective, they call Sicilians Italians. But if you talk to a Sicilian, they will cut you.
Well, yeah, because it's a whole island separate from Italy. Like, there's
Tomato.
So first things first, I saw Andy pointing at Tony, and my brain immediately went, so are you trying to recreate the creation of Adam or what over here? Second of all, literally that's how your hand was positioned. Second of all, I don't watch a lot of movies, actually.
Really?
No, I mostly like animated movie like type things.
Okay, so what's an underrated animated movie?
But, you know, I haven't watched a lot in a while, so my brain immediately goes to, I know you're gonna know exactly which one I'm talking about, Treasure Planet.
Yes.
And that's what I started this whole entire conversation with.
I didn't even think about.
So
Yes. So underrated.
We don't talk about animated, underrated films enough.
Treasure Planet's the best Disney movie they ever made. Period.
Like,
Ooh.
a lot
Period. You never fight me. Everyone.
No, I'm
wants
not
to
going to
fight me on
fight
it.
you.
No,
I'm just
know.
like, ooh. That.
Everyone wants to fight me on it. I love Lion King. Don't get me wrong. I love Lion King.
Lion King's kind of overrated, though.
Okay, first of all,
They made 3 different Lion King
you
movies.
can leave.
No, but I'm not. But like, I'm saying, like, in the sense comparison-wise, like. But
no.
like, it's still good.
It's brilliant. Like, The Lion King is brilliant. Like, the original. The rest of them are trash. But Treasure Planet
It's Hamlet.
is just like... Treasure Planet is so good.
It's Treasure Island, but in
It's-
space.
But so
doesn't
much
love
better.
it?
It's so good.
I love the music too. Like the main OST theme, I'm Still Here.
Oh, yeah.
Like
yeah.
literally is just on my playlist, and there
Yeah.
are days where I will just have that song on for like hours on end.
Yeah. It's so good.
Absolutely love that movie.
It's-
And my brain is also going to underrated Ghibli movies.
Okay.
So one that comes to mind is Nausicaa, The Valley of the Wind.
I wouldn't call
It's
that
not too underrated, but it's.
I mean, it's not Spirited Away,
But it's not like the most talked about.
I don't know about that.
Was that the first Ghibli movie, or was it
No.
like early on? Or
No,
No,
the first
Nausicaa-
Ghibli movie was like ages ago, 1984.
Yeah, I think the first one was Castle. No, it was
No.
Porco.
No,
No, what was it? Capture.
no.
No, Castle something. Castle Austrialoglo or whatever. the heck.
Technically, if you want to be like complete, it's like Nausicaa's the first one.
Is it the first one?
But like, really, it's not. Cause like, who was him? Lupin. Lupin's like one of
Daniel
the first ones.
Thulis? How do you...
I don't remember what it is.
He's also in Big Lebowski, Daniel Thulis.
Yeah, Lupin the Third. Lupin the Third, 1979.
You remember?
Really? Oh,
Rock
Yeah, I
Shadow
watched that
Visual
one.
Artist.
It's also very underrated in terms of like Miyazaki movies.
yeah.
He's a thief and his compatriots. It's just kind of like a cutesy, like slapsticky kind of like movie. But it's very good.
Okay.
But they'll say that they technically want to say the first official Studio Ghibli was Castle in the Sky.
Oh, Castle. I love Castle in the Sky.
Castle in the Sky is
Castle
one
in
of
the
my favorites.
Sky is brilliant. Well, it has to be because 1985 was when the studio was founded.
Yeah, but if we want to be real, like this is the actual timeline.
Apocryphal, because you can't have a pre-Studio Ghibli. That doesn't. That,
Yes,
that-
I've
that's
decided
not how that works.
That's how it is today. Though technically,
But okay.
Kiki's Delivery Service was 1989.
Oh yeah, it's pretty late. Well, not really late. I mean, because I think later was Spirited Away. Anyway,
Whisper of the Heart's pretty good.
Nausicaa. Interesting, Nausicaa. I still haven't seen Nausicaa, even though I've heard it's really good from a lot of people. All the Studio
So it's
Ghibli
very-
fans
so
love
it's-
it.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, I don't think it's underrated because all the Studio
Like,
Ghibli people
I'm
are
not
like,
saying,
it's
like-
so
It's
good.
interesting because I've never
Like,
seen any of these.
It's underrated in terms of if you're talking about just like animation features in general.
Oh,
But if
sure.
you're talking like
Okay.
among Ghibli fans, like everyone
Like, it's
already
the
knows
big one.
what Nausicaa is.
Right, yeah,
Nausicaa's basically she lives on a planet that
Unlike us. Sorry.
I'm gonna compare this planet to like a half Dune-esque planet, half like jungle planet type
Right.
deal, because it's mostly based on her living in this desert colony type thing, and there's insects, giant worms in the ground, and everything like that.
Oh, right, yeah.
So that's why I'm comparing a little Dune-esque in there. And so she's kind of got to like help bring peace to her colony and the rest of the world that's like being ravaged by all this crazy stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of people, I think my favorite thing about Nausicaa is the fact that everyone thinks she's not wearing pants in the movie, but she's
actually wearing tights like the whole time.
No, the whole time she's actually wearing pants, but the way that the color correction works, it just looks like it's her skin tone.
Sure.
But she is wearing pants. That one's really good. I think Kiki's Delivery Service was one of my first ones that was like insanely good. That's the one that I watched.
It's true.
First.
That
literally the one that I watched first.
That one has never been underrated. Like that's a huge.
Never been underrated.
Yeah, like I remember commercials for Kiki's Delivery Service and just about dying.
Porco Rosa was 1992.
I think Grant wants to steal the microphone. I can see him.
Oh
shouting.
God, he's literally got the list on his phone and he's going like.
Is there one?
He really isn't. No, I'm having a diabetic low.
Yeah,
So I'm not, that's why I'm shaking.
No, there's two. If there's only two more I talk about, it's going to be these two. So,
Okay.
Oh no.
So me and my friends got together, did a list of like our top 10 favorite movies of the past 10 years.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say me and my friends got together and we decided we were gonna kill half the world. Carry on.
Who do you think my
Whoa.
friends are?
Oh, well, I mean,
Very nice people.
Okay,
That went
but
places.
you. No, I'm just kidding.
And this came in number 2 and number 1.
Okay.
In the order that I'm going to say.
Okay.
So number 2 was The Place Beyond the Pines with Ryan Gosling, and Bradley Cooper,
yeah.
Ray Liotta.
I have
That
Yeah.
is such a good movie.
Is it okay?
And I remember seeing the trailer back when it was first coming out. I was like, "Wow, man, this is like this is gonna be big at the awards."
Yeah, and it wasn't.
You heard
Nothing.
zip about it
Yeah.
afterwards.
Wow.
It's a very ambitious movie.
Okay.
There's kind of 3 movies in one. It covers a lot of. It covers a very large time span.
Okay.
It's one of my favorite movies in general.
Okay.
So,
So what's number 1?
Number 1
Oh no.
was The Killing of a Sacred Deer.
Oh, I've never heard of that one.
I feel like that was pretty well received. though.
I've heard.
I've never heard of it.
It's either.
I've also never heard of it, but
it's-
I'm not the movie person, so.
In my experience, either nobody's heard of it or they have heard of it. They either love it or they hate it. It's one of those movies.
Oh.
It's Yorgos Lanthimos, the same director as The Lobster, The Favorite. Those
Oh,
movies.
okay.
Top
Oh,
2.
interesting. Okay.
It is a supremely uncomfortable movie, in the best way possible.
I do love
of
a
course.
good uncomfortable. Maybe.
So it has Colin Farrell. I always
Yep.
get Colin Farrell and Colin Farrell. It is Farrell.
How can you
Hold on.
confuse Colin Farrell and Colin
Because they
Firth?
look-
They
just the
look
names,
nothing
just
The
the
last
alike.
name
I-
both
it's
starts
just
with
the
an
names.
F.
They're British.
That Gropit.
They are not.
You know one Brit, you know them all.
Oh my.
Is he Welsh or something?
Do I need to get up?
Colin Farrell is like, I believe he's either Scottish or Irish.
Are
and
we gonna fight
Colin
over this
Firth
one? Because
is
next-
English.
Yeah.
I'm losing it. It's fine.
I'm
It's
not.
fine. You can carry on.
Okay, I'll finish up.
Is it a youngish guy?
A youngish?
Yes. Is his hair straight or curly?
I don't remember.
Oh my god. Okay.
He had it done up for the movie. I don't know.
Colin Farrell has never had curly hair in any movie he's
What
ever
is this
been in
called?
because
Probably
he can't. So,
Killing of Sacred Deer, but yes, very uncomfortable.
Okay.
It's a horror
It's
movie.
Farrell.
Yeah.
It's a horror movie, kind of.
Okay.
Where you never really learn what is the thrust of the movie. You just
yeah.
this character sets the rules, and
Yeah.
then the movie abides by it.
Interesting.
It's just really not talked about to the level that I think it deserves.
Yeah.
And
'Cause like I said, I've never
Oh,
heard
that's
of it.
fair.
wasn't nominated for anything. Not that, as we learned last week, not that award shows count for squat. But
I mean, they're good for slapping people in the mouth.
I was gonna make a slap pun. Like, does the movie slap?
Oh, like.
All right, yes, Aaron.
Do you know what I don't think is talked about enough, but I think should be talked about more?
What's that?
Dark Crystal.
Oh, wait. Hold on.
Dark Crystal is a cult classic, though.
It is, but it doesn't get talked about enough.
Okay, that's.
But it's a cult classic. Like,
Yes,
it's.
but it doesn't get talked about enough.
We're not disagreeing,
But
but that is.
Tony's disagreeing.
I
I don't think I've
am.
ever heard
'cause
anything bad
yeah,
about it.
Dark Crystal is one of those like Dark Crystal and Labyrinth are so not.
I'm just mad that they canceled the Netflix series. Is all.
Okay, that's fair.
I'd say
but I heard that the Dark Crystal series had some issues.
Let's face it, anything
But I haven't
Netflix
seen
makes that's good is going to get canceled.
I think it's
Then
really
Case in point-
explain Stranger Things.
Case in point, Daredevil.
Even the sun will shine on it.
I
Never
mean,
mind.
I
It's gonna
get to, I
inappropriate.
just feel like it was like, season 1, yay, and then you get to season 2, and I'm just like, why did we keep this show going? I don't
Stranger
understand.
Things?
Yes, I'm just like,
What do you mean?
It's so lame.
No!
It's so.
No!
I've never seen
Hold on.
a single
We got a
episode.
cue. We got a.
Episode 1's great.
And I
Or
left my
season
pocket
1 is
and I
great.
go home.
Okay, but we're talking about movies, not
Are we
TV
gonna
shows.
fight about it? Because I'm done. I
No,
got snacks.
because we're talking about movies, not TV shows, and I was thinking about Colin Farrell. Because I forgot that I wanted to bring this movie up. Speaking of Colin Farrell movies, I will watch Colin Farrell in anything, but I think the reason that I will watch Colin Farrell in anything is because of Oliver Stone is the director of this movie called Alexander, which is a biopic of Alexander the Great. That movie is so good. I don't even know how else. It's really long, which is one strike against it, I think, because really long costume dramas, people just hate those for some reason now. I mean, they used to be a big thing in the 30s, 40s, and 50s.
I think they'll make a comeback.
These things
Just because blockbusters are getting longer and longer.
That's true, and Dune, what is Dune except a, long costume drama in space? I mean, think about it, come on. That's what Dune is. So maybe, you might be right about that. That could be fun. But this movie, Alexander, is 1, super long. 2, the cast is stacked, but none of them are in, the role that you would expect, right? So, Angelina Jolie plays Alexander's mom. But if you don't know your history, you don't understand why Alexander's mom seems to have this, hypersexual relationship with everything except her husband. This includes her child. She has this really... Every monologue with Alexander, her son, is very, you are the air that breathes. She's just, super sexual with him. And you're like, is this what is happening? Every scene.
I did look it up really quick, and I was like, no, that was pretty... No, at least on IMDb, 5.6 out of 10.
Everyone hates that movie.
Everyone. I don't remember it especially well, but I remember liking it.
I remember actually because this was before I saw the movie, but I remember hearing 3 people at my high school. They were all cis white men. 2 of them were high schoolers, and 1 was the teacher, the history teacher. Pay attention to this. So they're all talking about this Alexander movie, and the 2 guys went to go see it, and the teacher had not seen it yet. So they were reporting to the teacher, all of the ails of the movie, oh my god, and then he kissed a man. And at that point, because we're in the computer lab, at that point, I fly out of my seat as I'm wont to do when people don't know anything and they dare to speak aloud, to the front of the room. And I was like, actually... There's a long historical record of Alexander the Great having, at least one very dedicated male lover, but he probably, before he went on his campaign into, Persia, had quite a few, because he was raised by Aristotle, who told him that it was okay. So, it was kind of normal in Greek society. Bisexuality was very normal. So every dude had a male lover. It wasn't a big deal. Alexander the Great had a dedicated male lover and didn't marry until super late in his career, and so that made him significant to historians and to his people.
I'm trying to think where I learned this, and it could be a flawed education, but it's in the vein of Greek mythology and Greek, classical ancient Greek, kind of bisexuality. That the prevailing thought was that men are for relationships, women are for
bearing children.
Yeah.
That was an Aristotle quote. Okay. Aristotle believed that if you only had a male lover because you wanted to get off, then you were not paying close enough attention to how valuable having a male lover could be. Because if you wanted to get off, you could just... that's what your wife was for. But Aristotle was deeply homosexual, so, like, of course he was gonna, like, he was kind of biased, wise as he might have been.
Yeah.
So, like, this is one of those things that, like, you know, the worst kinds of historians have tried to disavow for a while, and all of the rest of the historians are going, it's Greece. They were all gay. What are you talking about? Like, to deny that from Alexander the Great. What I loved about this movie is that he didn't. Like, Oliver Stone did not do the Ridley Scott. We're going to get to him in a moment. Oliver Stone was like, here's the historical record, and I'm going to make a fantastic, like, visual exercise over it. He also plays with time in that movie in a way that I found fantastic. So you find out through monologue that Philip II, Alexander's father, was murdered. Anthony Hopkins plays, Ptolemy, the General Ptolemy, as an old man, and he's sort of narrating the movie. And he says, so after the murder of Philip, and Alexander went to Greece, and the Greek city-states fell apart, and he conquered them. And then at 19, at 21, he went on to the field of battle to kill the king of Persia, right? And so then you go to the massive, like, the historical battle where he took down the king of Persia, which is, like, still one of the greatest battles ever fought, blah, blah, blah. Way later in the movie, at the right emotional beat, they take you back and you get to see Philip murdered. And every time I watch that scene, I am deeply uncomfortable. I'm in tears. And, like, I hate Philip. Like, Val Kilmer makes you hate Philip because I think you're kind of supposed to. Like, Val Kilmer's a great actor anyway. But that's the other thing. Val Kilmer, as this, like, incredible Greek lord, but he's repulsive. Val Kilmer has never been repulsive, but, like, in this movie, he is horrifying. But when he dies, you feel a deep well of sympathy, or when he's murdered, you feel a deep well of sympathy. You also feel a great deal of rage because you're pretty convinced that Angelina Jolie's the one who orchestrated it, because she's the only one in the audience with a straight face and a red dress. So she stands out. The whole thing is beautifully orchestrated, and I do not know why people laud Gladiator when Alexander exists. So let me get to Gladiator so that I can, talk about Ridley Scott here for a minute.
But is that underrated?
Gladiator's not underrated. This is the problem.
Overrated.
Gladiator is overrated. One, because it's too simple, which is partly why people like it. It does Roman history wrong in so many ways. Ridley Scott does this with another movie that I want to talk about in a minute. But the point is, the way in which he treats the one female in the entire film, who is the highest ranking person in the movie once her father is murdered, it's crap. Like, the number of swears that I have to choke down to not complain about Gladiator, despite having so many lines that I've memorized because I've seen it that many times. Like, I don't know why I keep watching it, because I hate it. I actually loathe Gladiator the older I get, because it's
Maybe
dumb.
your DNA needs it.
No.
Somewhere on a chromosomal level, you need to have this in your life.
I think I just saw it at the wrong time in my life, and I just can't stop, and I hate it. Kingdom of Heaven, on the other hand, which was... I think Black Hawk Down came in between Gladiator and Kingdom of Heaven. Kingdom of Heaven, and everyone's going to hate me for saying this, but Kingdom of Heaven is the best work that Ridley Scott has ever done.
Wrong, but I respect it.
Yes, I know. You're a Black Hawk Down person, aren't you?
No, I saw that like once. I wasn't crazy about it.
Yeah, me neither.
No,
Yeah,
I just
same.
prefer like Alien and Blade Runner.
Okay.
Fair.
Did he do Blade Runner?
Yeah.
He did Blade Runner.
Yeah.
I still think Kingdom of Heaven is superior, but that's just because I'm not necessarily a Blade Runner person. I don't dislike it, but I'm also not fanatical. The thing about Kingdom of Heaven is that it is completely...
I was looking up
Oh.
underrated films of the 2000s. Kingdom of Heaven's on the list.
Yeah, it is. That movie is...
It's
to
number
me,
28.
I think it's great. Because, one, Orlando Bloom is fantastic. He's not Legolas, and he's also not Will Turner, two characters that he has been that I loathe. But he's good. Like, he's really good. He gets to show off what he can do. The way he physicalizes, like, a knight is fantastic. I think that, like, the story works. There's a little, like, slipshod, like, you have to believe a little bit too much in this one single character. And but you want to because everyone else believes in him. Like, he somehow is able to, like, make his way into the higher echelons of society simply because he holds the sword of his father, the great Baron of Ibelin. But no one's ever laid eyes on him before. And this is the Holy Land. Like, everyone's vying for this space. None of them are just going to be like, that's fine. You're good. We like you. You got his sword. Like, there's no way you could have killed him in battle, so you must be his son. It's like, no, that's not how the Middle Ages worked. But fine. I'm willing to buy into it because Jeremy Irons says that you're okay. Like, I'm okay with this. But the thing that I loved the most about this movie was encapsulated in this review that I read. This review that was ripping it to shreds because of its historical inaccuracies, which I completely, the person's right, but that's not the point. They said something that I really appreciated. 9/11 haunts almost every frame of this film, which in the end argues that no one is free of sin, and that those who most fervently proclaim themselves the arbiters of God's judgment on earth, Christian and Muslim alike, bring death and destruction in their unseeking quest for power. That one sentence encapsulates everything that I love about that movie. It does not shy away from the fact that it's a capsule thing. Like, it can only work because it was made in which the time it was made. Everyone at that time was, terrified. Everyone in America, was terrified because 9/11 had happened, and there was constant political, like, finagling and media, all of that crap that you get, since the 80s, when anything bad happens, that just, this movie, like, wades into that and goes, hey, guess what? This is an ages-old kind of situation. And no, I'm not going to be nuanced with you. You know what I'm going to tell you? I'm going to tell you, the Christians decided that they owned this land, and the Muslims slapped back real hard. Because guess what? They were both sort of authoritarian jerks who wanted a land that didn't belong to either of them. And it goes hard. And I love that. I'm like, yeah, that's the gist of it. Does it get the history wrong? Absolutely. And in this one instance, I don't care. Like, it's like the other Boleyn girl. That movie is trash from top to bottom.
It's historically inaccurate,
it's so bad, but the drama is delicious. That I'm like, yeah, I'll watch King Henry do what he wants to do, because it's a trash movie, but I like watching it.
There's a video you should watch, and it's about an actual historian who, like, specializes in that time period. Like, among that, like, court in general.
Yeah.
She watches the other Boleyn girl, and she, like, goes, yeah, no, and it's so funny.
Even the author of the book, who also created historical inaccuracies with her book, was like, yeah, it's very clear that they wanted to make a blockbuster and not a movie about actual history. And I'm like, well, duh.
Okay, really quick, and I was thinking about this, because there are a couple films, I don't think I have enough time to really delve into they're underrated or overrated, whatever. Yeah. But I think, let's go around really quick. One or two films really quick that you want people to watch.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to throw out there, Darren Aronofsky wrote the script for, produced, and even later on wrote a graphic novel for The Fountain.
Oh.
Starring Rachel Weisz, Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
I adore it.
Really?
I can't tell you why it's great, but I adore it.
Okay.
I had a different Aronofsky movie on my list.
And the other one is the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus. The minute you said, have you seen this before? I don't feel like it gets talked about enough. I mean, yeah. Andrew Garfield, Christopher Plummer rules in it.
Well,
Tom Waits as Mr. Nick, the devil.
What?
Perfect.
Alone. But even then, like, I can't take it away from Christopher Plummer because he rules in this film.
What is this movie?
The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus. Okay, those are my two movies. Aaron.
I'm gonna go a bit more kid friendly here. If you don't watch Treasure Planet, I'm gonna cry. And then second of all, Little Nemo's Adventures in Slumberland.
Oh, it's so good.
I love that movie so much. It is like, I was like not born when it came out initially, but I watched it. Yeah. And, like, it is one of those movies that, like, if I need a nostalgia factor, I go watch it. Like, it's a little boy who ends up, in Slumberland, and it's the most adorable thing you've ever seen in your entire life.
We recommend.
Okay.
Recommend 10 out of 10.
Okay.
Lord Ish.
All right, like I said, my two picks, if you had to watch two, was going to be The Killing of the Sacred Deer and The Place Beyond the Pines, but I'll give you two more.
Okay.
A Walk Among the Tombstones.
Oh.
It kind of came at the kind of it was in the middle of the Liam Neeson Renaissance.
Yeah, right.
And I think as such it was lumped in with all of those.
Yeah.
It's really much more of an atmospheric, like hard-boiled detective story. It gets pretty dark for a...
We get a noir here.
Yeah.
It's just a really solid movie. So
Okay.
I would recommend that.
Okay.
Altered States. Has anybody seen Altered States?
No.
So it's a really good sci-fi horror combo from the 80s, starring William Hurt, who just passed away, actually.
Oh, I love William Hurt.
But this is one of my favorite horror movies, period.
Wow.
It has very trippy visuals, obviously, because they're like experimenting with altered states and stuff. But like,
It's the 80s.
What happens when stuff starts entering the real world and you can't tell the difference between what's real and what's not? And just the visuals in this movie are insane.
That feels very Johnny Darko.
Why does that just sound like They Live, but more?
I highly prefer this to They Live, actually. I've never been a big They Live fan, but
I watched it a couple times. I had to watch it in class once. I
really?
liked it.
Okay. You have to watch Alexander. Please. It's so good. But the other one that I was going to talk about that gets overshadowed by Princess Bride. So I feel like, okay, in the movie, like the cult classic movie camp, you've got 3 different groups of people. You've got the Neverending Story people.
Okay.
You've got the Princess Bride people.
Okay.
And both of those people aren't wrong.
What's the third camp?
But when you come to A Knight's Tale, don't bring those movies to the table, because A Knight's Tale will mop the floor with you. That movie is genius. Heath Ledger has never been better, and he is fantastic, usually. But in Knight's Tale, he is genius.
You forgot the fourth camp. I'm a Pagemaster person.
Oh, I forgot about Pagemaster, yeah. But Knight's Tale is the best of the quad. Princess Bride people, calm down. Ain't nobody talking to you. Like, I know you're all upset right now. I do not care. Knight's Tale is top tier underrated film. It is the best underrated film in the world.
it's my mom's favorite.
All right, dear listeners, you heard it
See?
here.
Grant's
All
mom.
right,
8 movies.
I can't wait for this. You gotta give it to him.
Okay.
Oh my God,
This-
what's the smack?
Oh my goodness, are you ready for this?
I don't know.
I'm gonna pass out. It's fine.
Smack, Snog, Mary, Avada Kedavra. Steven Spielberg, Christopher Nolan, Ridley Scott.
Acting like I haven't already pondered this night after night.
Okay, first of all, you kill Ridley Scott. Be done with his mediocrity, please.
Yeah, he's too hit or miss.
He's so hit or miss.
Keep
So
going.
we can get rid of Ridley Scott, and he's not attractive. So
I've never seen any of these people before.
you know,
so-
you marry Steven Spielberg because anything more than a snog from Christopher Nolan, and you're going to end up in one of his weird movies as like the woman. Even if you're not a woman, you're going to end up as the woman in the movie, and you're going to look at yourself and go, "Oh, that's me. Oh, I see. Wow, he really hates me." So you snog him and you marry Steven Spielberg. 'Cause you have a good life if you marry Steven Spielberg. He's nice.
At least he's got money.
You know? And he keeps making great films for decades. So-
I think for me it would depend on the type of lifestyle I wanted. Because if I were to marry Christopher Nolan, he seems like a guy who's like writing on his type. Oh yeah, sure, go do whatever you want. You know, he doesn't have that accent. I know.
Yeah.
He seems like a chill guy. But with
Do
Steve,
you really think so?
well, to a certain extent, with Steven Spielberg, I feel like it's more of a lifetime commitment. I mean, marriage is a commitment, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Right.
So,
Yeah.
although I think I would have to agree with you pretty much on all
Because have you ever noticed that about Christopher Nolan films? Like, there's always like the one woman, and you can tell that she's some mock-up of a woman that he dated.
Probably.
Because if you put all of the women in his movies together, they're the same woman every time.
And all the guys dress up like he does.
Yes, right, all of them. Like, I could watching Tenet was so head trippy because I'm like, where are you?
Do you have a dog in this fight, Aaron?
No.
No.
Again, I've never seen any of these people before in my entire life. And once
You've
again,
never seen Steven Spielberg?
I've never seen a picture of him, no.
Really?
No.
Oh, he's adorable.
That's pretty fascinating.
He is wonderful. I just love that man.
I almost threw Martin Scorsese and John Hughes into the mix.
You kill Martin Scorsese. I love his work. I love his work.
I've had a grudge against you ever since the staff party at the lake when you badmouthed Scorsese.
What did I say?
That's for another day.
next
Oh,
episode, we're
God.
gonna
Oh,
throw
was that
the
because I
phone
said
out
he was
the
being a
window,
jerk about movies?
along with our favorite
You said
books.
he was.
So,
you said he
I mean,
kept
that'll be
Harry.
fun.